On a rainy day from Blacksburg, it's Game 3 between the number 6 ranked Clemson Tigers and the number 24 ranked Virginia Tech Hokies, as Pete D'Amour's squad looks to sweep the Tigers for 2 years in a row. Hello and welcome to Tech Softball Park. Kyle Marshak alongside former Duke softball standout Rain Wilson. Rain, postseason implications for this one as well as a sweep for the Hokies.
Yeah, this is a really big game for a number of reasons. It's Clemson's last regular season game of the season, so they're trying to prove to the committee that they should host. Virginia Tech, on the other hand, they're trying to prove they're one of the best teams in the country, and I think they did so yesterday.
Absolutely, I can't help but agree, but how about Fagan in Game 1? She's been a star of the show with that walk-off.
Yeah, Cameron Fagan was fantastic. Down by 4, bottom of the 7th inning, Fagan caps it off with a walk-off home run. This is what dreams are made of.
On the other side, Lindsey Grine, the freshman ace for the Hokies, shined even brighter in Game 2.
Yeah, Lindsey Grine did fantastic for this Hokies team. Worked off the momentum of Game 1, 7 innings pitch, only gave up a solo home run, worked out of some jams, and struck out 5.
Well, Grine gets a rest day, and Lemley is going to be the one to face a really tough Tigers lineup. The sophomore leads the ACC in strikeouts. She's been fun to watch as well.
Yeah, Lemley, only a sophomore, but really the veteran in the bullpen for this team. You look at the numbers, 253 strikeouts and 185 innings pitched. She's got a fantastic drop ball, but her best pitch is that low rise ball. She's going to try to keep hitters off balance with the changeup as well.
Well, she has to face, as I said, a really strong Clemson Tigers lineup, a young pitching staff for the Hokies, and an experienced lineup for the hitters in the Tigers. Valerie Cagle, the one to watch.
Yeah, she's been fantastic all year long, but I think the success of Virginia Tech in this series points exactly what we see here. Valerie Cagle has been held 1 for 7. She's hit the ball really hard all weekend long, but right to these Virginia Tech fielders. But that's one player, yes, Kyle, we got to keep an eye on.
For sure. Well, the rain is still pouring down. Valerie Cagle, we'll see how she adjusts. But for now, it's Mackenzie Clark, the leadoff hitter, in center field for the Tigers to get things going. It's the number 6 ranked Clemson Tigers and the 24th ranked Virginia Tech Hokies. Come Monday, you have to imagine these rankings will swap around a little bit. Lemley looks in for the sign. Pitch number 1, and we are underway. 2:02 first pitch from a rainy New River Valley in Blacksburg, Virginia. Mackenzie Clark, a junior, one of many on this team that's been around for the entirety of the Tigers' 4 seasons in NCAA softball. Another pitch outside. Rain maybe taking a little bit of an effect on the grip and command of Lemley early on.
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out on both sides of the field for these pitchers. If they start to feel like the ball is too wet, they will communicate that to the coaches and the umpires.
3-0 pitch from Lemley. Inside corner, catches the zone. Home plate umpire Scott Mayer. Alex Leap over at first base. Brad Newton down the third base line.
Yeah, these pitchers, you'll see them hold the ball in their glove as long as they can, shield it from the rain so they have the best grip possible.
Swing and a miss, strike 2. Now you're seeing the velocity from the sophomore.
And when Emma Lemley gets swing and misses, you know her stuff is working that day. She's a swing and miss pitcher, high strikeout rate, moves the ball really well up in the zone.
Full count. Got her. Inside corner, strike 3, backwards K to get going.
Down 3-0, Lemley climbs her way back and paints the inside corner, knee-high fastball to get Mackenzie Clark. Such a huge out early in this game. Clark disagrees, but Emma Lemley gets the first out against the match that starts this Clemson offense.
McLish bunts it to the left side, foul. Yeah, that was definitely the expression of someone who wanted ball 4 on that pitch inside. That was the 254th strikeout this season for Emma Lemley. Miklish, a senior. The cool thing about a program that was in their inaugural season 4 years ago is all of these girls have stuck around. Pitch number 10 for the sophomore. Just inside. Rain possibly taking effect. How quick do you show this Tigers lineup your full repertoire, though? I mean, they've already seen Lemley. You think she's ready to just pull the trigger on all of her pitches here?
Not quite. What they're going to try to do likely is work her best stuff, work her hard stuff, and then try to work in the changeup later in the game, especially second time, third time through. Now, if you start to see the changeup earlier in the game, that tells you two things. It tells you, one, that these Clemson hitters are really on balance with her hard stuff, but two, it tells you that Lemley might be missing around the zone. As of now, her rise ball has a lot of run, and she's spotting it really well despite 2 3-2 counts back-to-back here in the top of the first.
Full count. Already up to a dozen pitches here for Emma Lemley. Miklish battling. Another backwards K. Lemley with 2 strikeouts to start things off.
Yeah, we talked about in the open, the low rise ball. I mean, look at this pitch. Rises right up into the zone. Miklish tries to kind of steal a walk there, but that ball was plated perfectly by Emma Lemley. And it's such a good sign if you're a Virginia Tech fan that she struck out the first 2 and they really haven't made solid contact.
Well, the first 2 batters have been a piece of cake. Now she has to face a potential player of the year. High chopper up the middle, and it is just 8 up. That'll be a base knock for Valerie Cagle. Castine couldn't make the play.
Yeah, Cagle gets on top of this one. Castine kind of shuffles her feet, doesn't know how to play it, tries to go with the short hop. But that's a tough hop. You got to go attack that a little bit more, make the short hop even smaller, gain ground on that ball. But Cagle with a ton of speed, I think that's a base hit anyway.
Good way to break the slump for Cagle of sorts. Now in the 4-hole, it's Caroline Jacobson. You know Jacobson pretty well. She's a Duke transfer.
Yeah, the senior was a teammate of mine at Duke for a couple of years. Really good friend, really good ball player as well.
That one will get out of play. So Cagle with her second knock of the series against the Hokies. 2 of 8 so far. Jacobson was a big difference maker in the first 2 games, although, of course, the Tigers could not pull away with the win. 2 games that felt like they just kind of slipped out of the grip of the Tigers pitching staffs.
Well, I think the series started out perfectly if you're a Clemson fan, if you're a part of this Clemson team. 3 home runs, none by Valerie Cagle, and that's a really good sign for the depth of your lineup moving forward. But like you mentioned, Kyle, the 7th inning really slipped away from this team, but I think you credit Virginia Tech. They strung hits together and they were clutch when they needed to be.
2-1 pitch from Lemley. Taken high for ball 3. Outside of the single for Cagle, all of the at-bats have had a 3-ball count. Jacobson had a solo shot in game 1 in the 3rd inning. Perhaps some power here with a runner on. Watches strike 2, another well-painted pitch from the sophomore.
Yeah, Lemley's gonna work the outer half here. We'll take a look where this one ends up. Over the chalk, might have caught the corner. But look, I think Lemley's been all around the zone. There's been some questionable. I know Caroline Jacobson doesn't agree with that one. But Lemley is not, we talked about the 3-ball counts that she's been getting into, but you can see here, she's fighting back.
The payoff pitch from Lemley. Grounded to the right side, that'll leak into center field. Here comes Cagle to third. Throw coming in, it's cut off. Corner's occupied with 2 down.
Yeah, Lemley's gonna go right back to the outer half. Jacobson makes the adjustment off the outer part of the plate and shoots this ball up the middle. And if you're Virginia Tech, you almost wish that was a walk because Cagle advances to third. Now Clemson, first and third, has some momentum here in the first.
Maddie Moore, the second baseman, has a chance. Been kind of a theme so far for this young Hokies pitching staff with 2 outs. They've struggled a little bit. Two down, Tigers threatening early.
Yeah, there we see the changeup by Emma Lemley early in this game. So it kind of tells you, like we talked about, Kyle, they're starting to barrel up her hard stuff. So she's got to work in the off speed to keep these hitters off balance, keep them guessing.
Yeah, Lemley's been mixing in and out, up and down, and now we finally see the soft stuff. A 1 pitch, big swing and a miss.
And what that changeup does early in counts is Moore is selling out for the fastball early. She's trying to get a fastball out in the green. But what the changeup does in that first pitch is it speeds up that second pitch. And now Maddie Moore is in an 0-2 count. She's got to fight off both. And that's what makes Lemley so good is she has a changeup low and away, slow and low, and then high and in. It's really hard to battle off both of those pitches.
Oh, 2 corners occupied. Well, you've got the 2-strike count after a changeup and now a rise ball. What's the pitch here?
You climb the ladder. You throw a pitch that she cannot beat you on, or you go low and away with a changeup in the dirt, whatever Lemley feels more confident in.
Lemley, well outside.
And you can see Aldridge there pointing to the inner half, so she misses there. That's not a real competitive miss. Of course, 0-2, you can afford to give one away, but as Lemley moves forward, Coach Pete Moore is going to want her to have more purpose pitches in an 0-2 count.
The 1-2 with 2 down. Upstairs again.
And the rise ball in the outer half is just a little less enticing for hitters. Once they see it up and in, oftentimes they're more inclined to bite.
Count even at 2 apiece. Popped out of play, souvenir for the fans. What I've noticed so far in this battery for the Hokies, I like this phrase, Lemley's the painter and Aldridge is the framer. They've been working together all year long. Aldridge in her first year. I think they've been pretty good battery mates so far.
I agree with you, Kyle. Aldridge has stepped in as a freshman and received really well.
The 2-2 again from Lemley. Popped up. This one will stay in the field. And Green gloves it for out number 3. Out of the jam, Cagle threatened, but the Tigers could not get one going. Scoreless ball game, Hokies step back up to the dish. McCubbin to take the circle and a big opportunity against the Virginia Tech Hokies in a scoreless ball game. A sophomore getting the nod in game 3.
Yeah, we're used to seeing Valerie Cagle on Sundays, but I think Brooke McCubbin, the sophomore, has really earned this opportunity. Check out the ERA, sub-0, 0.81, 60 innings on the year, 32 strikeouts. She's going to work in mid-60s down the zone, but check out her changeup to keep these Virginia Tech hitters off balance.
Kelsey Brown to lead things off, and it's a strong lineup for the Virginia Tech Hokies as well. Bree Pack is the one that stood out to me.
Yeah, Bree Peck has been really good as of late. Last 10 games batting .448, and then in the series 2 for 6 with a 2-run home run, which was in the bottom of the 7th in game 1, which really ignited this Hokies offense.
Oh, that started the carousel for sure. Game 1 was a fun ball game. All right, Kelsey Brown sporting number 21 in what you call the win stripes for the Hokies today, Rain. First pitch. Brown does what she does, throw over to first, beats her by a step. The speed on display quickly, but 1 down. And it's a good defense for Clemson. They're already being tested early against the speed of Kelsey Brown. It's going to be the usual look. Miklish, Clark, and Jacobson from left to right in the outfield. Davenport, Lagaleo, Moore, and Cagle from left to right in the infield. Of course, your battery, McCubbin and Hyatt. Cam Fagan had that walk-off in game 1. Power up and down this Hokies lineup, a team that leads the country in home runs this year. 1008 OPS. I mean, those numbers are just crooked for Fagan.
Yeah, another thing about Fagan is she's a triple threat. She'll move her feet throughout the box and chop balls down if the situation kind of pushes her towards that. So she can do it all in the left-handed batter's box and on defense as well.
Called strike, up and in.
McCubbin there kind of crossing up JoJo Hyatt, so Hyatt caught it across her body. I think it was a strike, but the Hokies fans definitely don't agree.
1-2 from McCubbin. Line to the right side, easy out for number 2. Well, we haven't seen it come into effect just yet, but it's a slick field here in the New River Valley. The rain came down just before first pitch. Little chillier than games 1 and 2 at 56 degrees. Luckily, the wind not in effect just yet either.
No, and just shout out to the Virginia Tech grounds crew for making this field playable. It kind of drizzled and rained all night long last night, but both teams really wanted to get this game 3 in. One of the last games in the regular season.
2 up, 2 down, and here's the first baseman, Addie Green, stepping in for her teammate Jamie Bailey today. Check swing, that'll stay in fair play. McCubbin out, number 3. 1-2-3, goose egg on both sides. It's a scoreless ball game as we head to the top of the second. It's the Tigers and the Hokies on the ACC Network Extra. Tech Softball Park filling up for a fun one in game 3 between 2 ranked squads. It's the Hokies and the Tigers. Virginia Tech looking for their 2nd consecutive sweep of the Tigers. And there's the leader of that Hokie squad, Pete Demore.
Yeah, what a job Coach Pete Demore has done here in his 7th season as a Division I coach. 2-time ACC Coach of the Year for good reason. He has led this Virginia Tech program to new heights year after year.
Pete Demore's been excellent on the other side. The Tigers with a good leader as well, John Rittman. He was fired up yesterday in game 1.
Yeah, good to see him back on the field. He was ejected yesterday, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. But what a job he has done with such a young program and built it to where it is now.
Logaleo aggressive early. That's the theme for these Tigers hitters. That's what Rittman's really instilled. A former fast pitch player likes to attack early against a good pitcher like Lemley.
And especially down in the zone, you could see Leo Galeo attacking the low strike, understanding, and these hitters understand anything above their belt is going to continue to run up and make it really difficult to barrel balls.
Righty on righty, here's the 0-1. Fouled off. We saw a lot of long at-bats yesterday as well. Oh-2. Slap foul. The all-tournament selection has put together some long at-bats so far this series. 3rd team All-ACC, 2nd team All-ACC. Was all freshmen a couple years ago as well. Accolades up and down this Tigers lineup.
Yeah, she's going to be, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, she's going to be one of the founding members of this program that will never be forgotten for as long as Clemson softball is in existence.
Just outside.
Love the pitch call there. Love the pitch location for Emma Lemley. And I also love the take by Leo Logaleo. Lemley ahead in the count 0-2, works off the outer edge, tries to get the call, but Logaleo lays off.
Pitch 30 already for Lemley. That one popped up deep to left field towards the foul pole. That one will get out of the ballpark. Stays fair, and it's a solo shot to get things going for the Tigers. They're up 1-0.
We talked about Emma Lemley's Achilles heel being the long ball, and here it is again. Middle in, Aaliyah Logaleo takes this pitch, drives it really high in the air. There was a question of whether it was going to be fair or foul. It landed fair, and it's the first run on the board for Clemson here today. And a similar start to game 1 yesterday, Kyle.
Well, you see the wind blowing straight out to right field, so that ball just stayed up and left, and as a matter of fact, stayed fair. 8th home run of the year for Logaleo. And here's some more power in the form of Ruskowski, who swings at strike 1. Freshman Ruskowski stepped in the ballgame after Clark's absence yesterday. She also had a home run. Lemley has had a long season, really efficient in getting batters out, but home runs have been her problem so far.
Yeah, we see the 12 given up last year, 32 this year, just up a little bit more than I know Emma Lemley likes. But folks around the country have to remember she's just a sophomore, and there's sort of a sophomore slump on the batter's side, but also in the pitching circle, because now teams prepare specifically for Emma Lemley.
1-2 to the freshman. Just misses outside.
And now, Kyle, there's video on Emma Lemley. There's proof of how teams have had success off of her. And so we see the ERA up, we see the home runs allowed up, but don't get it twisted. This kid has amazing stuff in the circle, and I think she will be an ace for this program for her entire career.
Full count, and I think it's worth noting too, Lemley carries a large majority of the workload in the circle for the Hokies, so 32 home runs kind of correlates with the fact that she's been pitching a ton of the innings.
That's a really good point, Kyle. Last year, she shared the circle with Keely Rochard, who also had a ton of innings on the year.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. K number 3 already for Lemley on the afternoon.
Yeah, Lemley, this is when her stuff is really working well. Works off of the plate, the low rise ball with a ton of run on the outer half. Ruskowski unable to catch up. And there we see Emma Lemley bouncing back from the long ball.
Strike 2, or strike 1 to start things off against JoJo Hyatt. Strike 2 in the inside corner. How do you pitch differently after a heavy-hitting left-handed bat and now more of a contact-driven JoJo Hyatt in the right-handed batter's box?
I don't know if you try to do anything differently other than hit the spots that your catcher is telling you to hit. Now there is a caveat to that these coaches have access to a lot of data. There's a number of websites. 643 Charts does a really good job of showing spray charts, so they understand how to attack each hitter. And there's scouting reports coming from other teams about how they've defeated each hitter. So that definitely plays into it as well.
One down, the 2-2. Popped up. We'll see if this one stays in play. Chasing it down is Bennett, and she'll glove it for out number 2. The defense will be strong for the Hokies today as well, 5th best in the ACC. Of course, Lemley and Aldridge, your batter you mentioned earlier. Brown, Peck, and Ritter, a speedy outfield from left to right. Bennett, Castine, Fagan, and Green, the new young lady over at first base.
And Jamie Bailey not in the starting lineup today. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And so something to keep an eye on. Addie Green not normally in that position.
Davenport up at the dish. Tigers evidently spent a lot of time recruiting in the South particularly. Now in their 4th season, you see Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, a lot of southern states in the hometowns for these girls who have now made a big impact just a few years later. A wizard hat in the dugout. Is that Millie Thompson wearing that wizard hat for the Tigers? It's a loose team right there.
Yeah, Millie Thompson definitely leads the energy in the dugout for Clemson. So much fun to watch.
2-2 pitch. Lined up the middle, and that one will drop into center field. A 2-out knock again. Davenport aboard with a single. Yeah, talk about a loose team. Wizard hat in the dugout. I wish I knew what the tradition was, or maybe Thompson just decided to throw that thing on before the game.
Got to stay loose somehow. Yeah, we talked to Coach Rittman before the series and asked him who are the leaders, and he mentioned a couple players, but he said Millie Thompson is our leader in the dugout, and you can see it on display there. A lot of energy from the junior.
Top of the lineup, back to Clark. Backwards K to start things off for 0 for 1 in the afternoon. One 0 pitch. Up high. How much do you worry about pitch count for a young lady like Lemley who's taken a large workload? Usually in softball particularly, it doesn't necessarily correlate to fatigue as much as you might think.
I think it's pitcher to pitcher. You know, we've seen this year Montana Fouts and Shanice Dells go 160 to 180 pitches, and I know Lemley, I'm sure, has hit that mark in her career. You know, it's something you keep an eye on, but it's more of a test you ask Lemley, how are you feeling? But the issue with that is Lemley is a competitor. She's going to tell Coach, hey, I want the ball, I feel great. So it's sort of that sense that Coach Pete DeMoore, Coach Mike Lewis have to have is understanding, you know, when Lemley might be working through some things just to say, hey, I want the ball.
Pitch 5-0 for the sophomore Lemley. Went with the off speed, misses outside.
Yeah, Lemley's gonna have to work really hard to establish that off speed somewhere in the zone. Otherwise, these Clemson hitters will sell out for the fastball and rise ball.
3-1 called strike 2. Another painted pitch on the outside corner.
Almost like deja vu from the first inning, but Lemley's gonna paint the outside corner here with the fastball. Really well executed pitch. Clark didn't like it. And now we have a payoff pitch. Runners will be going.
Runners released in the payoff delivery. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Lemley strutting her stuff. The crowd's fired up, but Logaleo has made the difference.
The difference so far has been Aaliyah Logaleo takes this pitch and lifts it out of the left field and gives Clemson the 1-0 lead.
Clemson is up 1-0 in a battle that's become chippy already after a backwards K this previous half inning.
Yeah, on a 3-2 count, Clark gets rung up on the outer half and gives it to the umpire. She doesn't get thrown out, to my surprise. But that, you know, Clark plays with a lot of fire, a lot of tenacity, and sometimes emotions, you know, get the best of players. I can't say I'm innocent with that. I think I've yelled at some umpires, gotten some warnings before. You know, when you're fighting and it's the end of the season and you've struck out in the first inning, there's a lot of emotions as a part of that, but I think it was the right call by the umpire.
Well, it's been a long series for Clark, so perhaps the frustration setting in. As McCubbin starts things off with a strike, she's got no hits just yet, and of course got thrown out because of a collision at home plate in game 2 yesterday early on. So it's been a long series for Clark. Perhaps we're seeing it pour over a little bit there. Emma Ritter laces one into center field. Leadoff knock for the Hokies.
And this Virginia Tech team has done such a good job of using momentum in their favor. Ritter takes this pitch on the inner half that she missed on the first pitch and drives it up the middle to lead off this inning with a hit. I mean, I feel like this Virginia Tech team really feeds off this Hokies crowd here in Blacksburg, and we see it there on display.
Bree Peck, the sophomore, will step up. Finally, the Hokies with their first knock after a long first inning. They went 1, 2, 3 in their half, though.
It'll be interesting to see if Emma Ritter is in motion at some point in this count. 15 for 15 on the year, a lot of speed at first base.
A 1 pulled foul. With the tension we've seen between these two teams, I mentioned it yesterday, it almost feels like we're seeing the beginning of a nice ACC rivalry. Peck's been a punctual part of this rivalry that's brewing between the Hokies and the Tigers. 3 home runs in the last 8 games, the rest of the team 7. Peck's batting average is the one that stands out. Ritter goes, throw not in time. Swipe bag for Ritter.
Yeah, a perfect pitch to go on, a changeup on the outer half. Ritter already with a ton of speed. Gets a really good jump here. JoJo Hyatt makes the throw a little bit up. Logaleo gets up into the air and prevents that ball from going into the outfield. And Ritter now is 16 for 16 on the year, and Hokies are threatening.
There's a chopper to the left side. Ritter's going to try and take third. Throw not in time. Speed on display early on. Fielder's choice.
It's really, really good base running by Emma Ritter. Bree Peck does her job, rolls one over. Reading Davenport fields it cleanly, checks the runner, but there's no one at second to keep her honest. Cagle shoots it over to third. Logaleo prevents it from going into the outfield, and now Tech is threatening even more by taking advantage of the extra 60 feet.
Aggressive base running for the contact leader. Now we have Maddie Hansen, the designated player. There's been a rotation of different DPs for the Hokies this year. Hansen, you could say somewhat novel to it, listed into the season. 0-1, that one driven well left field. It'll stay in the ballpark. Miklish will make the catch. Ritter tagging throw, not in time. Ritter prances in for the first run for the Hokies. We're knotted up at 1.
Madison Hansen has been so impressive in her 2 at-bats in this series. Gets a base hit yesterday in the bottom of the 7th, and here comes up clutch with a sacrifice fly out into left. Deep enough for Miklish, unable to get Emma Ritter with a ton of speed, but a really nice throw by Allie Miklish out and left.
It takes more than a great throw to throw out a runner like Emma Ritter. Kelsey Bennett, her first at-bat of the afternoon. Talk about playing small ball. Ritter did everything there to move up 60 feet. She gets a board with a single, swipes second base, and then takes third on a ground out from Bree Peck. Just set him up perfectly. I mean, that is a coach's dream right there.
Yeah, and that's not coming from the coaches. That is Emma Ritter understanding instincts, understanding her speed. And typically when you have a ground ball to third base or the runner on second, that's the most inopportune time to take third. But Ritter, understanding her speed, took advantage of the 60 feet and produced that sac fly.
Upstairs to Hansen, ball 3. That one just downstairs. First walk of the afternoon for Hokies hitters.
Yeah, McCubbin just misses with the drop ball. Only has given up the one hit to Ritter. Virginia Tech, credit them. They just really found a way to manufacture that run. But now you bounce back, you give up a walk, and now the Hokies have a little bit more momentum.
2 down, runner on first. Now we get to Rachel Castine, the shortstop. Another young bat in the Hokies lineup. To know the count to Castine. She's in a, you could say, small rotation of shortstops for the Hokies. Pete DeMoore describes that position in particular as day-to-day, as well as designated player for him.
Yeah, we asked him, Tegan Thrunk, Rachel Castine, and he sort of goes, whatever I'm feeling that day. And I think you have to trust your head coach in that regard. And I know Castine and Thrunk have done a good job all year, and they come prepared to play every single day. We see Rachel Castine in the starting lineup today, though.
That one hit well. Left field, track, wall, gone. Hokies on top. Castine comes through.
I guess you could say Coach DeMoore made the correct decision today. Castine takes this pitch middle in and absolutely drives it out to left field. A 2-run shot for the Hokies. Now they're up 3-1, and the momentum has not left the Hokies dugout yet.
Only the second home run on the season for the sophomore. Virginia Tech is pumped up. The bats have come alive in the second. That was gone off the bat. Nine-hole hitter, Kylie Aldridge. She lofts one up to the left side, and that'll retire the side. Not without some damage being done. No, the Hokies with a 2-run shot. 3-1 score. Virginia Tech leads it. High-tension series so far. We're in Game 3, but Game 2 stole the show after a collision at home plate. Mackenzie Clark got ejected. Man, it has been an interesting one, Rain, and as we saw right afterward, head coach John Rittman of the Tigers was not very happy with the call.
Yeah, Coach Rittman was hot. He did not agree that they ejected one of his players in Mackenzie Clark. But we'll take a look at the rule book here. If a base runner deliberately collides with the fielder, the runner will be called out and ejected, regardless if the fielder has possession of the ball. And the umpires ultimately decided that that was a deliberate collision by Mackenzie Clark. Obviously, John Rittman would disagree that that was not a deliberate collision, but that's really where it stood yesterday, and it was drama-filled yesterday as it is today.
Yeah, Clark has been the center of attention so far in this series. I mean, these are just two fiery ball clubs. You could call it a softball play at home plate. Regardless, the rule book is the rule book, so Rittman was not very happy with the decision, but both are back for Game 3.
Yeah, and Kyle, we almost see her actually get ejected in the second inning here after drawing with the umpire. I mean, she plays with tenacity. She plays with fire. I said on the broadcast yesterday, I disagree with the umpire's call, but I want to make it clear that's a very difficult, subjective call for the umpires to make.
Bunt, Lemley couldn't get her to go. Ball rolls into foul territory, and she's going to try and, nope, she'll stay at first. Looked like she turned for second. Miklish starts things off for the Tigers.
Yeah, Miklish is going to move through the box and do a drag bunt. Bennett comes across, but Lemley calls for it, throws the ball in the dirt. Cameron Fagan unable to keep it in front of her, but Miklish will stay at first. And it is ruled a single.
Miklish on first. And the sun's peeking out a little bit here in Blacksburg. That's nice. It was raining just before first pitch. A 1 to Cagle, slap the other way, gloved, on to second, on to first. Couldn't get the double play. Nice force out though.
Wow, we saw Castine just do it with her bat. This time she does it with the glove. That is such a huge play. Cagle absolutely smacks this ball to the left side. Castine gloves it, gives it up to Fagan, and just not in time for the double play. But what a turn by this Virginia Tech team. What a hard hit ball hit by Valerie Cagle. I think if that would have passed Castine, I think that's a chance for a double and maybe a run scored by Allie Miklish.
One down, now it's Jacobson. Yeah, Cagle finally getting on base a couple of times today. Before that, only her second knock in the series, but the home run leader has yet to get over the fence at Tech Softball Park today.
And I think that's why Virginia Tech is 2-0 in the series. You know, for all of these ball clubs across the country, when you're facing an opponent in a series, you circle a name of who you aren't going to let beat you, and Valerie Cagle is that player entering the weekend, 18 homers, second in the country, and they've kept her off the home run board this weekend.
Which in turn looks really good for a young lady like Lemley, who gets a lot of strikeouts but gives up a lot of home runs. I mean, the expectation coming into this series was almost to be certain that Cagle would punch herself back up to #1 in the country alongside that short list of young ladies with 19 home runs this year, but nothing to show of it 3 games into this series.
Yeah, I think the bright spot, if you're a Clemson fan and if you're John Rittman, is you've seen 4 other players hit the ball out this weekend. Aaliyah Logaleo, Maddie Moore, Reedy Davenport, and here Caroline Jacobson, which is such a good sign for your offensive depth moving forward into the postseason.
Two. Popped up to the right side and out of play. Oh, nice catch by that young man. Kid in the blue coat stood right up and basket caught that one. Foul ball turns into a free slice of pizza at Tech Softball Park, which is nice.
Jacobson right now, what a cool moment to get the free slice of pizza. First of all, that's priority here.
(3-2) to Jacobson. Tap to the left side, foul again.
But Jacobson has been seeing the ball incredibly well. I'm a little bit inside scoop on her in the fact that I was her teammate, so I understand when she's hot. And when she's hot, she's walking, she's hitting home runs. She sees her plate discipline is really, really good. And we've seen that in these 3 games, which is so important behind Valerie Cagle as they move forward. Otherwise, teams will simply pitch around Valerie Cagle to get to Caroline Jacobson. But it's no easy task.
Lined and caught. Back to first, double play. Flashing the leather are the Hokies. They get out of the jam. 2-run lead for Virginia Tech, and guess what? They're stepping right back up to the dish. A fun one in Game 3 between the Tigers and the Hokies in Blacksburg. Look at this play.
What a job by Kelsey Bennett stabbing this line drive.
ACC softball, we're so competitive. ACC really isn't going anywhere because we are already here.
Another rocket, and that one's over the fence.
We are just as competitive as any other conference. There will be teams from the ACC in the World Series.
Fun time to be an ACC softball fan. Championships sneaking up on us. Man, these teams have been strong up and down the conference. You have the 4 and 5 squads right in front of it here in the ACC standings, both top 25 as well. Leadoff batter for the Hokies to start things off in the bottom of the 3rd. Virginia Tech up 3-1. Defense helped them up to cap off that last frame. And a new pitcher on the circle. It's Reagan Spencer taking over here in the 3rd inning. Spencer 4-0 so far this year. Another pretty efficient arm out of the bullpen, a deep one at that for the Tigers.
Yeah, it's no surprise that this Clemson pitching staff is one of the top in the country in ERA. A lot of depth in the bullpen for John Rittman and Kyle Jamison.
That poses the question, too. I mean, 3 runs have been given up, but what wasn't working for McCubbin? Why is she out of the ball game now?
You know, it's an interesting question. I'm not sure. I thought she was pitching really well. Only gave up 2 hits. Of course, one was the long ball. But again, I think it goes back to the potential of John Rittman's playing the long game, understanding that these 2 teams might match up. Brooke McCubbin might play a big factor in the ACC tournament.
2-2 from Spencer. Tapped up the middle. No chance. Kelsey Brown is way too fast. Leadoff single.
Yeah, good rule of thumb for Kelsey Brown is if the ball bounces twice, you can forget about her being out. Oh, it only bounces once. I mean, Kelsey Brown with his speed. High chopper up the middle. Maddie Moore going to her right side. Tries to make the play, but no chance to get the speedy Kelsey Brown, who's just the table setter of this Virginia Tech offense.
She is the prototype of what you want in a leadoff hitter. And not in the modern sense. I mean, you see it in softball and baseball now. They like to have power towards the top of the lineup. Well, Kelsey Brown, she just gets on base, and she does it at will. Brown, 17 swipes so far this season. There she goes again. They're going to call it back. They're going to call her out. What did I miss there?
They're calling her out for leaving early. Alex Leap, the first base umpire, called it immediately, which is why Kelsey Brown stopped. So Brown left the bag before the pitch was released. Leap saw it immediately. And so she is out.
Well, that's a shame. Make it 17 for 18 in swipe attempts this year. Regardless, Fagan with power at the dish with 1 down. Looks like Spencer crossed up her catcher there.
Yeah, JoJo Hyatt unable to glove that one. That was a strike. Scott Mayer called it that way. The Hokies fans said, hey, if it was a strike, why didn't she catch it? These Hokies fans are relentless this weekend.
Easy out, number 2.
Number 6, Addie Green.
Addie Green stepping in at first base today in place of Jamie Bailey, who was a part of that collision yesterday afternoon with Mackenzie Clark. Decided to play it safe. She's day-to-day right now, just had a little bit of a bang up around the jaw area. So she'll take the day off. Both coaches looking intently, as we said at the top of the broadcast, postseason implications. So more than just trying to get a series sweep if you're head coach Pete Demore, or trying to salvage the series if you're head coach John Rittman. That one pulled real hard foul.
You ready now?
Ballpark still filling up for game 3. 2-2, line hard to the right side. That one is off the base of the wall. Green racing into second to throw, not in time, and it caroms away. 2-out double for Addie Green.
2-2 count. Green gets a nice pitch to hit on the inner half that creeps over the middle, bounces it off the wall. Caroline Jacobson plays it perfectly, but the throw too high to get the speedy Addie Green.
Would have been a close play regardless. Nonetheless, good for these Hokies hitters to show they can hit every pitcher that John Rittman puts in the circle. Spencer in her first frame of action for the Tigers. Doesn't get any easier. You face Emma Ritter now. She singled her last time up. Ritter got all that one, but it's foul. Spencer still searching for a rhythm with 2 down here. Tap to the left side, it sneaks through. Addie Green will stay at third, but the throw to home plate sails away. Green's gonna try and steal the bag. No tag. Another run on the board for the Hokies.
Yeah, Ritter shoots this ball through the 5-6 hole. Allie Miklish comes up firing, but sails over her catcher, JoJo Hyatt. The issue here is Reagan Spencer was not backing up that play, which as a pitcher is so critical to do. Mike Lewis actually held up Addie Green at third, so that run wouldn't have scored had that throw been backed up. Virginia Tech scores another run and really holds all of the momentum so far in this game.
I mean, Ritter hit your routine single, but one errant throw has made all the difference for the speed on the base paths for the Hokies. Bree Peck up at the dish now. It is a 4-1 lead for Virginia Tech. Peck grounded out her last time up. Offensive struggles been a theme for the Hokies so far, although they've come alive recently against Clemson. The ACC has not been too kind to a lot of these ACC teams, especially with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, what I look at with those numbers there is batting .400 with 2 outs. When we talked to Coach Pete Demore before this series, he said that's what we need. We need clutch hits. We need to cash in. We have opportunities. And you can see here today and even yesterday, this Virginia Tech team has cashed in a number of times with those opportunities.
Two to Peck. Taken outside, ball 3.
Clemson fans at home wanted this one, I know. Just off the outside edge. JoJo Hyatt, Reagan Spencer wanted that one, but Bree Peck has a perfect eye, and we're in a full count.
Payoff pitch to Peck. Soft pop-up left side, and that'll retire the side. Not without some damage being done. Addie Green comes in to score on an errant throw. 4-1 Hokies. 5 hits apiece on a rainy day. The Hokies lead the Tigers 4-1, and we're joined by the Tigers head coach, John Rittman. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, it's been a fun series so far, a competitive one at that. What do you hope that Spencer provides a different look in the circle for you?
Well, I think exactly that. I think it's a different look. You know, they saw Brooke yesterday, and Brooke gave us 2 solid innings here, and we've been hitting some balls right at them, and unfortunately they've been hitting them where, you know, we aren't. So that's the way the ball bounces sometimes, but we're still in the game. There's a lot of ball game left. Really like the way our team's fighting.
Yeah, Coach, although the series, hasn't gone your way, we've seen some pop in your lineup for players that aren't named Valerie Cagle hitting the long ball. How important is that as you go down the stretch into postseason?
Oh, it's definitely important. We need production up and down our lineup. To be successful in postseason, everybody's got to contribute. You know, we got to pick each other up, and I think we've done that today. And in this series, we just come on the short end of the stick a little bit. And like I said, we got a lot of ball game here left, and hopefully we can come back and put some productive bats together and score some more runs.
Absolutely. Don't want to hold you up. Thank you, Coach.
All right,
Thanks, Coach.
thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, we're back to action. It's the Hokies and the Tigers, as we said. That was head coach John Rittman of the Clemson Tigers joining us, and we are ready to play some fast-paced softball. Leading off, it's Maddie Moore giving some knucks from her head coach. Tigers down 3. They got some work to do here, Rain. Pitch 66 in the ball game for Emma Lemley with her patented grunt as well. Simmers in high. What's the approach down 3 now mentally in the dugout? Obviously the Tigers are very loose, but to stay calm, collected, and trying to at least salvage the series in some form or fashion.
I think it's kind of like what Coach John Rittman mentioned, that they've hit the ball really well off Emma Lemley, and they have to trust their approach at the plate, trust their stuff. And they've had a lot of success all weekend. Those home runs have been solo predominantly, so they got to find a way to string some hits together and hopefully hit a ball out of the yard with runners on base. But you never hit a home run by trying to hit a home run. You got to kind of stay short, find ways on base, move runners around, and there's a lot of ball game left.
That one inside. Would you say that you saw that same short, compact swing that just happened to be a home run with Fagan in her walk-off yesterday?
I would say yes and no. I think Fagan was hunting the drop ball of Valerie Cagle, and she got a pitch to hit out over the plate and just put a really good swing on it. And that's all you can hope to do. All you can hope to do is hunt a pitch, put a good swing off, and sometimes your hand-eye fails you. In that case, Cameron Fagan, her hand-eye was perfect.
Full count. Moore, the leadoff hitter. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Lemley is rolling right now.
Yeah, what a huge moment for Emma Lemley. Down 3-1 in the count, fights her way back, and then executes a perfect pitch on the inner edge. Thigh high, but with a lot of run up in the zone. That's what makes her pitches so difficult. It looks like it's coming in low, and then it has that low rise run into the strike zone. Just nasty stuff from Emma Lemley.
Logaleo, check swing, and it leaks into center field. 1 out knock for the Tigers. Perhaps this is a moment where the Tigers start to string those hits together like you said. But they've gone cold in the past few games. The last couple of weeks have not treated Clemson too nice at the plate.
Yeah, definitely not, but I think you look at their opponents. They faced a really good Florida State team, a really good Liberty team, and now here Virginia Tech has caught momentum as of late.
Roskowski at the dish with some power. 0 for 1, you could say she's due. One down with 1 on. Hokies up 4-1. Castine has been the difference maker so far. She had that 2-run home run back in the bottom of the second. Another run steps in the form of Addie Green, who came around on an error back in the third. Now we're going to see a little bit of an infield meeting.
Yeah, 31 balls to 43 strikes. Emma Limley has pitched really well. I'm sure Mike Lewis is going out to say, hey, we need to attack hitters. You can't keep getting behind. What happens when you get in 2-0, 2-1, 3-1 counts is the hitter can pick a zone and attack a zone, and if they guess correctly and time it up, they can put a ball out of the ballpark. And in this case, with Ruskowski, who hit a home run yesterday, that's not what you want. If you're Mike Lewis and Pete DeMore, you want Limley to attack the zone, give your defense a chance to get you out of this inning.
Sun coming up here in Blacksburg, Virginia. Perhaps the bats will heat up for the Tigers as well. Big hack and a miss. Ruskowski's been under that rise ball all afternoon. I think Aldridge wanted that strike.
Yeah, the Hokie fans here fighting for every single pitch. We've seen a couple that have really been in the other batter's box, but the Hokie faithful are passionate.
3-1, called strike 2. Home plate umpire Scott Mayer has had a tough job behind home plate today. He's been doing great, but both teams will disagree with the home plate umpire usually. Full count with one down to Ruskowski. Popped up. This one will stay in the ballpark. Bennett, and now Castine will glove it for out number 2.
Massive out there for Virginia Tech to shut down any momentum that Clemson had.
Beautiful afternoon to tune in to some Tech softball as the Hokies play host to the Clemson Tigers. 4-1 lead if you're just joining us. VT, after 2 wins yesterday, now lead the series 7-3 all time against Clemson. And in case you missed it, man, Hokies looking for a sweep for the 2nd year in a row, but it's been a competitive series overall. Feels like a rivalry is brewing between these ACC squads, between a walk-off home run, plenty of other home runs, errors, and of course ejections. It has been fuming in Blacksburg. JoJo Hyatt, the backstop for the Tigers, been in the middle of it all. Again, Kyle Marshak alongside Rain Wilson. 2-0 pitch from Lemley. Downstairs. Feels like Lemley's missed up or down pretty often today. Called strike at the knees.
Yeah, what you want to see from your pitcher is close, competitive misses. I think early in the game, there weren't as many of those. I think in this inning particularly, she's right around the zone, but especially early in counts, you just have to attack the zone and trust your defense behind you.
3-1, called strike 2, full count. This is the 9th 3-ball count that we've seen out of Lemley today. Funny enough, no walks. Run around, the payoff pitch. Simmers low, ball 4. There's the first walk of the afternoon.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable that was her 9th 3-ball count, and that was her first walk. It just tells you what kind of competitor Emma Lemley is, but looks like Coach Pete DeMore might make a change.
Yeah, DeMore speaking with Scott Merritt home plate. We'll see what the new look is. It looks like this will be the afternoon for Lemley. Lemley steps out of the ball game. We'll see what the new arm is for Pete DeMore and the Hokies. Looks like they're going to go to Jacobson. All right, well, 2 runners aboard. Jacobson endorsing a couple. We'll be back in just a moment. 3-run lead for the Hokies. Lemley's out, and Pete Demore is going to go with the Iowa native Molly Jacobson, that tertiary arm, out of the bullpen for the Hokies with 2 runners on here.
Yeah, the sophomore is going to work in the low 60s. She's a strike thrower with good control, a drop, and a really nice changeup to keep these hitters off balance. She complements Emma Lemley well, working lower in the zone, and she attacks the zone, which we see Lemley sort of struggle with, although it doesn't show up on the scoreboard.
We'll see how Jacobson adjusts. She endorses 2 runners from the ace of the staff, Emma Lemley. From one young pitcher to another. 2 down here in the 4th. Davenport, the back end of the lineup for Clemson. One pitch. Just misses outside. You said it, Rain. Hokie faithful are very invested in the strike zone today.
They certainly are. I'm really impressed even with the weather, how many folks showed up and showed out today here in Blacksburg, Virginia. It's so good to see for this sport.
In on the hands. Throw to first is in time. Jacobson, 1 batter, 1 down, 4-1 lead for the Hokies. 3-run lead for the 24th ranked Virginia Tech Hokies here in Blacksburg, Virginia. As we head to the next frame, we're joined by Hokies head coach Pete Demore. Thank you for joining us, Coach.
You're welcome.
Well, it's a beautiful afternoon for softball, but Castine's been the one that's shined so far. What did you see out of a home run from her?
No, she's just on time. You know, she got in the hitter's count and put a good swing on it. So, yeah, she's on time for the hard stuff, and that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, Coach, your team is playing really good softball as of late. What's the difference between last weekend versus Florida State and this weekend versus Clemson?
And we're just putting all 3 phases together, it seems like. You know, clutch hitting and our pitching's keeping us in the game. We're playing good defense. So when we put all 3 phases together, we're a handful.
We appreciate it, Coach. Thank you very much.
You got
Good
it.
luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
A stoic and well-spoken head coach Pete Demore joining us there at the top of this inning as we prepare for the home half of the 4th inning. Castine's in the 3-hole. Well, in the 8-hole, that is, but coming up 3rd in this inning. We'll see if she has more power in her bat. That was her 2nd home run of the season back in the 2nd inning in her first at-bat. But for now, we have Maddie Hansen with plenty of pop as well against the new pitcher in Spencer in the circle for the Tigers. This series has been a softball fan's dream. I mean, you fill out the bingo card with ejections, home runs. I think home runs are probably the favorite so far this series. We've seen plenty of those.
Yeah, we expect it from Virginia Tech leading the country in home runs, but Clemson has had a few home runs of their own, but man, Virginia Tech has just had those clutch hits, and like Coach Demore just mentioned, they're just playing really well in all 3 phases of the game.
Yeah, I mean, no lack of power in the Tigers lineup either. So far this season, coming into this series at least 63. That's upwards of 65 plus now for Clemson this late into the series. They're 2nd in the ACC behind the Hokies, but man, that is a sizable difference with 87 for Virginia Tech at the top of the conference. Clemson tied 10th in the country at the beginning of this ACC regular season matchup, though. Looks like Spencer's lacking a little bit of command to start things off, endorsing some runners last inning and now taking over here as that one's pulled foul. What has Regan Spencer got to do to kind of calm things down?
Well, you can tell she's kind of missing across the zone a little bit more than she might like to. You'll see JoJo Hyatt set up in, and then she'll throw it, and JoJo Hyatt will actually reach across her body. That notes, to me at least, that she's missing on sides of the plate. and that's not what you want. You want at least to hit one portion of the zone. If you're working in, if you miss up or down, you can live with that, but you can't miss over the white, especially against this Virginia Tech team.
And you were a former infielder at Duke. I mean, can you see that from your angle, like when the nerves kind of exit the body of the new pitcher in the circle?
I don't know if I can see the nerves, but I definitely can tell when they're misses, especially with what the technology they have now and the note cards that they have on their wrists. I don't think Virginia does that, or Clemson does that. But at Duke, we had information.
That one popped up into no man's land. Coming in is the right fielder Jacobson for out number 1, as you were saying.
But we had the information of what pitch was being called, so we could tell if it was missed or not.
All right, one down. And the seniors celebrated for the Hokies yesterday after game 2. I think that was a really good day for them to do so. And of course, Pete Demore had to post on Twitter about it too.
Yeah, this class has meant so much to Coach Pete Demore and this university and what they've been able to do to really put Virginia Tech softball back onto the map.
And outside of Rochard and company last year, perhaps one of the most stacked senior classes for Demore and company too. Bennett walked her last time up, the 1-1. Popped. That one will stay in the ballpark. A running grab by Cagle for out number 2. Nice play, but the highlight today has been power. How about Castine with that 2-run shot last time around?
Yeah, Rachel Castine took this pitch for a ride, middle in, and absolutely drove this pitch over the left field fence. The sophomore has taken advantage of her opportunities at shortstop, and she's cashed in for the Hokies.
Let's see if she can have a repeat of success here. Two down, pitch 35 coming up already for Spencer in relief. Castine, another young bat that is still kind of finding her rhythm, but that was the most well-hit ball we've seen out of her in a Hokie uniform. That one pushed hard, foul. Watch out, Mike Lewis.
And that's exactly what you want to see if you're Virginia Tech and Coach Pete Demore is someone, and Coach Mike Lewis as well, someone step up into that shortstop role, whether it's Rachel Castine or it's Tegan Thrunk. And Castine with a huge hit. And it'll be interesting to see if she's cemented herself.
Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Awkward ending to top off a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Hokies, but they'll retake the field in the 5th. Another inning, another new pitcher for the Hokies. Third arm of the day is Lindsey Grine, the freshman, and she shined yesterday, looking to do it again against the Tigers here.
Yeah, the freshman was fantastic in the circle yesterday in game 2. 7 innings pitched, only 1 earned run. Really stifled this Clemson offense, and we'll look to do it again here.
Lindsey Grine, 153 whip is the stat that pops out, but yesterday numbers did not matter. It was just a special outing for Grine, and now some boos raining out on Mackenzie Clark, who's been the center of attention for the Tigers. As I said, high tension. Grine and Clark have been the two really in the center of it all. First pitch, just low. 4.11 ERA, but yesterday, as I said, numbers did not matter. She shined. Good stuff.
Yeah, she's been fantastic as of late, especially in the Florida State series. Although Virginia Tech did get swept, she was really, really good for them.
1-0 pitch to Clark, taken for strike 1. It's a good point. Florida State was a sweep on the other end of things for the Hokies. Lost all 3 at home against the best team in the ACC in Florida State, but Grine really showed promise against them.
And you know, when we asked Coach Demore about what the difference was. He said we played all 3 phases well this weekend, and she was part of one of the phases against Florida State that played well. They just didn't have the clutch hits, made some mistakes defensively, but a bright spot against that Florida State team.
2-1 from Grind. Big swing and a miss. Clark still searching for her first knock in this series in Blacksburg.
I think this Hokies crowd is going to lose it if she strikes out Clark.
2-2. Fouled off. Feels like the momentum has swung from Lemley to Grind being the focal point of the pitching in particular. What's that change looked like for Grind? Why has she become the centerpiece?
I think she's limited the amount of mistakes over the white of the plate, whereas Lemley, her counterpart, has given up the long ball a little more than she might like.
2-2 popped up. Shallow center. Castine has a beat on it for out number 1, and the crowd rejoices. And to keep talking about Grind with a good defense behind her. 1 down, Castine says. I mean, she's had great stuff, and the ERA doesn't reflect that because as of late, she's just been a different pitcher against, as you said, really good teams.
And let's be clear, too, Virginia Tech has not had an easy schedule. They faced really tough opponents, and Lindsey Grind is a freshman. So at this point in the season, you can almost call her a sophomore. She's had so much experience, but early in this year, I think that's where we see the higher ERA.
Miklish called strike 2. You see it again. Grind comes in and has momentum. Oh, 2 tapped. Off the bell to Fagan. That'll leak into right center field. First knock on Lindsey Grind. Hard hit ball. I'd imagine that's going to be an error. Just a tough play, though.
Yeah, a little tweener here. Fagan wasn't sure if she should attack. She elects to go backwards and gets a hop off her chest. I mean, that's why Miklish is so good. Of course, Cameron Fagan, if you ask her, she would say, yeah, I can make that play. But when you chop the ball down like that and create pace on it, makes it really difficult for the infielders to field it cleanly.
Valerie Cagle, the star of the show for the Tigers, has been quiet this series as well, and was definitely quieted by Lindsey Grind yesterday. Clemson's got a good defense. Virginia Tech right up there in that conversation, though. 4th in the ACC with a 9.7 in fielding percentage.
Yeah, and that's what you're shooting for. 970 is a really good point of reference, a good benchmark, and they've been right around that for the last 4 or 5 years. And you could see it on display today.
Just missing outside. Grind worked all throughout the zone yesterday in Game 2 against Clemson. She got the start, and with a complete game, allowed 6 hits, only 1 run. I mean, that was just a new look from this freshman pitcher. 3-0, swing and a miss.
Cagle with the green light on 3-0. I like the call by John Rittman to give her the green light. And although she's been kept off the base path for most of this series, she's hit the ball really hard in nearly every at-bat.
Cagle swing and a miss again. High-octane stuff from Grind. Full count with 1 down. Fouled off.
Grind goes right back to the rise ball in the outer half. 141 total bases leads Division I coming into the series. One of the final, I would say, members of the Player of the Year standings candidates.
Pulled foul again. Well, you see it on that pitch in particular. I think what makes her special, let me know if you agree, is that she's really long through the zone. She can foul off a lot of pitches and stay in the at-bat.
And she really stays in her legs, Kyle. She has really good balance. So on that changeup, she killed time, was able to spoil that pitch. And now she'll be set up to hit something hard.
Full count pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Grind is shining so bright as a freshman.
What a pitch, what a moment in this game to get one of the best players in the country out swinging. Works inside with the rise ball underneath the hands of Valerie Cagle. You don't see that often, Valerie Cagle had struck out, especially three swing and misses. What a job by the freshman.
2 down, and now it's Jacobson. Soft fly, right field. That one will bloop in for a base knock. Rounding third, the Tigers sliding into home plate. The throw gets away. Clemson takes 1 run back on an awkward knock to right field. Jacobson with a 2-out single.
Yeah, we mentioned it. Jacobson has had good at-bats all weekend long. There we see a sort of CNI single in shallow right. Ritter coming on, Fagan coming over, unable to make the play. Miklish with a ton of speed, rounds third and scores all the way from first base. With 2 outs, Jacobson will actually make it to third as well.
So they're going to call that one a double with advancement on the throw. That's just an unlucky hit if you're Lindsey Grind. Swing and a miss to start things off against Maddie Moore, though.
That's a tough play there for Ritter and Fagan, both really trying to make that play, but I think you have to keep that ball in front of you and prevent Miklish from scoring, and that's why speed kills, and that's why Miklish is a huge part of this lineup.
How do you recover from a hit that's not necessarily your fault, just luck, you could say?
I think you tell yourself just to that. You pitched, you executed a really good changeup low in the zone. You got the hitter guessing. It just was where the defense wasn't.
0-2 to Moore. Way high of the zone.
But, you know, Kyle, that's exactly how the game goes. Yesterday, Valerie Cagle hit a line drive shot out into center field to Bree Peck on a frozen rope and was out. And so the game sort of ebbs and flows and evens out in some ways.
Strike 3, got her. Grind struts off the circle. 1 run comes in by luck, but the freshman is shining nonetheless. 2-run lead for VT.
Softball fans, are you ready? Welcome to the home of college softball. This is the home. This is the home. This is the home of college softball.
Good time to be an ACC softball fan. The postseason coming up in just a couple of weeks. May 14th, the World Series is going to be underway in Oklahoma City. You're watching 2 teams here in Blacksburg that could definitely be a part of that conversation. You have the Tigers on the field and, of course, the Hokies at the dish. The standings right now for the ACC in particular, mind you, Clemson in 4th, VT in 5th. 2 teams that are on the bubble of that hosting conversation after this week for sure. Line to the right side, diving grab. They're going to call it out on the catch. Nice play by the Tigers second baseman Moore.
Yeah, really nice play by Moore coming out after the strikeout to end the inning. Gets a really good jump on this line drive by Aldridge. Makes the diving play and keeps Aldridge off the base path and gets the first out of this inning.
Loud out number 1, out to the top of the lineup, Kelsey Brown. So what's the conversation look like for Clemson? I mean, if they walk away being swept by the Hokies, I mean, yeah, the Hokies will probably slip back into the top 20, you could say. Clemson on the cusp of, or just outside, as a matter of fact, of that hosting regional conversation as we get another single up the middle from Kelsey Brown.
Yeah, Brown has been on fire, but going back to your question, Kyle, I think the question kind of centers around, is Virginia Tech closer to number 6 in the country, or is Clemson closer to number 24? And that's not for you or I to decide, but it is for the NCAA committee to decide. And there we see the tournament projections as of last week. Florida State a 1 seed, 4th overall. Duke for 1 seed, 9 overall. They actually have Clemson at 16 seed, so right on the bubble of hosting a regional, which could be in jeopardy if they are swept here this weekend.
Cam Fagan lifts one to center field. That one shallow, running grab in center by Clark for out number 2.
Now batting number 6, Addie Green.
Now you have Addie Green stepping up. She doubled her last time at the dish. Back in the 3rd inning, a part of a little bit of a carousel for the Hokies. Put up 1 run in that frame. Line drive, left side, just foul. So we talk about whether or not the Tigers are closer to 24th or if the Hokies are closer to 6th. Well, here are the numbers straight up on what it looks like for the Clemson's resume for the postseason.
Yeah, 44-8, a really good record, but what you look at here is 15th in RPI and 79th in strength of schedule entering Friday, so that's not even accounting for the weekend that we've had here in Blacksburg, which could shake things up a bit.
Addie Green, deep center field. Will the ballpark hold it? Running grab in center. Clark robs a base knock away to close off the inning. Clemson's defense shining bright late in the ball game. 2-run separation, Hokies leading it. Another rainy day, another competitive one between the Hokies and the Tigers as Virginia Tech looks for the sweep. It's a close ball game, 4-2, and there's your game summary on the left side, Rain. It's been back and forth so far.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Logaleo with a shot early in this game, and then Clemson steals a run in last inning. But really the story for me is Rachel Castine with a 2-run shot and the ability for Virginia Tech pitching to shut down the momentum of these Clemson hitters.
And both teams have gone to multiple pitchers. Lindsey Grine, the 3rd one out of the pen today for the Hokies. John Rittman has Regan Spencer in the circle for him. But for now, it's the Hokies pitcher taking the spotlight. First pitch called strike. Logaleo starting things off. She singled her last time up. Before that, a home run. Perhaps the hottest bat in the lineup for the Tigers. Second inning opened up the scoring in this game. 1 run in the top half for Clemson. VT responds with 3 in the home half of the second. Another one tacked down in the bottom of the 3rd. In the previous half inning, Clemson put 1 home as well on an errant throw. A couple of errors on both sides, 2 for the Hokies, 1 for the Tigers. Not expected considering both teams have really strong defenses. One-two to Logaleo. Backwards K again. Lindsey Grine looks oh so comfortable in the circle.
Yeah, Grine is feeling it right now. Works both sides of the plate, but goes back in here and paints the inside edge against Logaleo. Freezes her up and gets the first out of the inning against a hot Logaleo who hit a home run earlier in this game and a single.
Big swing and a miss to start things off against Ruskowski. We're 1 1/3 innings pitched into Grine's outing today. She has 3 strikeouts already.
You know, Kyle, I just want to mention this. Oftentimes, we're talking about the umpires when they make mistakes. I think Scott Mayer behind the plate has done a really fantastic job on both sides today. So, you know, we're oftentimes getting on the umpires for messing up. They are humans, and today I think Scott has done a really wonderful job.
1-1 pitch to Ruskowski. Tap foul. I love that point. And you know, I mentioned that kind of in a side story. I was on the call for VT baseball the other day against Georgia Tech a couple weeks ago, and an umpire got hurt on a foul ball, and I mentioned the same thing. I said, this is a great reminder of how difficult this job can be for a crew that comes to the same ballpark, really. I mean, it's regional for these umpires, so they're used to the same fans. pitch 30 for Grind outside. It's a tough job behind home plate for sure.
It really is, especially with how much these pitchers move the ball, how much run they have on their pitches. It's difficult to catch. It's even more difficult to pinpoint exactly where it was in the zone.
That one hit well to center field, back towards the track and out. Solo shot, the Tigers are back within one.
I think Clemson softball has found their new DP. Jaden Ruskowski, the freshman. 2 home runs in 2 days, takes this pitch that creeps over the middle and drives it out to center and gets her team back within 1 run.
Ruskowski, her 2nd home run of the series too. I think Virginia Tech is going to be that first series in her NCAA career that she remembers, because that is when she established her presence. Look out for the name Jaden Ruskowski. She's got some pop off that bat. Just when you think the Hokies can kind of run away with it, a 3-run lead now shrinks to a 1-run lead.
Yeah, what a moment for the freshman Ruskowski. You know, you get thrown into the game yesterday after Mackenzie Clark gets ejected. You hit a home run. You come back, you get the DP spot the very next day, a start, and you do it again.
Hyatt lines one to the right side. That'll stay fair. 2 straight hits to start things off. So the 2 home runs for Ruskowski in this weekend are the 2 home runs in her NCAA career. This has definitely been the series where she's come alive in the Division I realm.
And you can see the joy in her teammates' faces too when she came in the dugout. They understand that that was her 2nd home run as a college athlete. And that's a really good sign moving forward if you're Clemson. You know, if you walk away from this weekend, it doesn't go in your favor. You know, you've seen a lot of offensive depth. You see Jaden Ruskowski go into the DP spot. You see 4 players hit home runs that aren't named Valerie Cagle. And Cagle's hit the ball well, although we haven't seen her on the base path as much as we're used to.
Now Baumhart steps in to be the pinch runner over at first base. Big swing and a miss to Reedy Davenport. So Hyatt steps out of the ball game for a moment. Baumhart, their go-to pinch runner on first base, representing that tying run. Day 3 of softball between the Hokies and the Tigers, and guess what? Another close one that could go down to the wire. One pitch from Grind. That one hit well to left field. If it's fair, it's trouble. Just tails foul. No, they're going to call it gone. Down the left field line, controversy at Tech Softball Park, and the Tigers have stolen the lead. They might have to review this one. Otherwise, a 2-run shot and the 5th on the season for Davenport. This ballpark is fuming.
The grad student comes up clutch here if it stands, takes a pitch over the middle, and waits to see if it's fair or foul before she does a little bat flip. And there is Clemson right back into this game. But not before the Virginia Tech faithful out and left say, no, that was foul.
The problem was that ball went over the foul pole, so it's so hard to see whether or not it was fair. The entire infield of the Hokies are convened around Grind in the circle. Gloves over mouths, probably chattering about whether or not they thought it was fair. This series has absolutely captivated the New River Valley. And there's going to be no review. It is in fact a 2-run shot from Davenport. And now that poses the question, if Grind exits the ball game, you put Lemley back in or Jacobson?
At this point, I think you keep Grind in, to be honest with you. We'll take another look at this home run. And like you mentioned, Kyle, it goes over the foul pole. We'll see where it lands. It's a tough angle here from the booth, a tough angle for our cameras. But the
Tapper
call
to the left
stands.
side, and another one leaks in the left field. Here comes the carousel of the Tigers.
This series, Kyle, has been a softball fan's dream. I mean, there's been drama, ejections, home runs, momentum swings. And the Hokie faithful has been in it for every single pitch.
That was the first hit of the Virginia Tech series for Mackenzie Clark. And right on time, here comes Mike Lewis to talk things over. What are you saying in this situation to Lindsey Grine and company?
I would tell Lindsey Grine, hey, keep attacking the zone. The miss to Reedy Davenport hurts because that was right over the middle of the plate. But Clark hits a bouncer through the 5-6 hole. 12 balls to 28 strikes. That's a really good total for 40 pitches in all. I think you keep Lindsey Grine in here because at the very least she gets some experience against adversity with a big crowd. And moving forward into postseason, there will be situations like that.
Well, a 70% success rate at getting the ball in the zone, so you can't say she isn't pitching a good game. It's just the Tigers are hitting her. Miklish can be trouble too. 1 for 3 today. One down, runner on. I mean, that's as close as you could possibly get when it comes to fair or foul. That was directly over the foul pole. So at that point, it becomes a game of inches. New ball game. Tigers have the lead. Tapper to the left side. Castine, no throw. Infield single for Miklish. Clark moves to scoring position.
Allie Miklish has put together a really good series for Clemson. One of the bright spots in the top of the order, just chops this to Castine. Castine knows she has no play anywhere. Clark and Miklish both have speed, and now they pass to Valerie Cagle. And Clemson has some serious momentum here in the top of the 6th.
And one could say that Cagle is due. No home runs in this VT series. Cagle 1 for 3. She has 2 knocks against Virginia Tech. Pop to the left side. Let's see if it stays in. And it does. Out number 2 as Brown gloves it. Cagle not happy.
A massive, massive out for Lindsey Grine. To get Valerie Cagle out, one of the best players in the country, a front runner for National Player of the Year, to get her to softly fly out to her left fielder, Kelsey Brown. Now the Hokies have 2 outs, but it doesn't necessarily get easier having to face Caroline Jacobson.
2 for 3 is Jacobson. Single and a double. She had a home run yesterday as well. Jacobson 11 big flies this year. One here could make a huge difference for Clemson. Inside corner called strike 2. This is the 8th batter of the inning for Grine and company. Logaleo led us off. And it was a home run from Ruskowski. A 2-run shot from Davenport. Back and forth we go. The 1-2 from the freshman. Just outside.
Really nice pitch though. 1-2 count, low and away, change up in the dirt. almost got Jacobson to chase. And what that changeup down is it slows Jacobson down to then speed her up.
Two-two. Popped up, right center field. Peck's got a beat on it, and she gloves it for out number 3. Long inning for the Hokies, though, and Reedy Davenport has made the difference with a 2-run shot.
Yeah, the senior came up clutch, took this pitch middle, and drove it out to left. Hokie faithful said it's foul. Reedy Davenport says it's fair. Tigers 5-4.
Hokies down 1 as the Tigers pour in 3 in the last half inning. Here we are into the next frame of action. It has been back and forth so far. Kyle Marshak alongside Rain Wilson. Rain, this has been not just a game, but a softball series that fans dream of.
Yeah, there's been everything you can imagine here this weekend in Blacksburg.
There's a deep fly ball to left field to start things off, and Ritter lines out hard for out number 1. Feels like every ball lifted in the air is a threat of leaving the ballpark after seeing how many have left Tech Softball Park in the past 30 hours, you could say. Maybe that's a part of it. The wind is just gusting out to left field right now. Bree Peck up at the dish now. 0 for 2 today. One 0 pitch catches the outside corner. It's been so interesting this series overall. I mean, yesterday, game 1 was resumed after 2 days ago. It was rained out after 2 innings. It was pushed up to a 4 p.m. first pitch 2 days ago. There's a deep foul ball, excuse me. Lemley and Cagle both pitched scoreless starts to that game yesterday, or 2 days ago. Sure enough, it turned into quite the ball game as the Hokies ended up walking that one off. 5-4 was your final score. And of course, game 2 came around. Lindsey Grine had to step in and shut down the show. Mackenzie Clark got in that pickle. She got thrown out with a collision from Bailey, who's out because of an injury. Rittman was ejected. Now the 2-2 pitch to Peck. Backwards K for out number 2.
Yeah,
totally
really nasty. Yeah, nasty changeup by Reagan Spencer here. On the outside edge, just freezes Bree Peck. Rollover changeup. And freezes the hottest hitter in the Hokies lineup.
That's a punctual strikeout, you could say, to come back in this frame after your team puts up 3. To say, hey, we're here to shut down your offense too. It feels like the Tigers have taken the reins.
Yeah, and a lot of these teams will actually count that as a shutdown inning. That's a data point they have. After scoring, how does your pitcher go out and throw?
A big time to have that, that's for sure. Hokies hitters only have 4 more outs to work with. As we've seen, it doesn't really matter. I mean, with the walk-off in game 1, it was down to the final out. And a 3-run shot and won it off the bat of Cam Fagan for game 1. Now it's Maddie Hansen. Ball 4.
That's something you obviously, Spencer, once that one back, you get the first 2 outs quickly, momentum's on your side, then you give up a 4-pitch walk. Well, it looks like we'll see a pinch runner for Hansen.
Hansen going to be substituted for some speed here. Mayaluko, usual pinch runner on the other side for Virginia Tech, representing the tying run with 2 down. You said it yesterday, you can say it again. Pete Demore's put on a coaching masterclass, as Clemson will chat in their circle as well.
Yeah, Coach Pete Demore is one of the best in the business, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday, about sort of the notoriety that Clemson and Duke get because they're new programs. But what Coach Demore has done in the last 5 years here in Blacksburg for Virginia Tech softball is second to none. He's put them on the map, a game away from the Women's College World Series the past 2 years. And here they are again, mounting a really good momentous run late in the season.
Kelsey Bennett's got some pop with 2 outs and the tying run on first here in the bottom of the 6th. Strike 1. How do you adjust the offense if you're Pete Demore? Now that Spencer's refinding a rhythm after Clemson takes the lead.
I think you don't really do anything other than continue what you're doing. Be on time for the hard stuff, adjust the change. Those 2 pitches are just really well executed by Reagan Spencer. Kelsey Bennett is hunting the hard stuff, so she's going to take those early in counts, and then now that with 2 strikes, she's going to have to battle.
That one just outside. Kelsey Bennett's been a difference maker in the career. Entering this weekend, I mean, she's been first in RBIs, second in home runs. Of course, the RBI leader for the Hokies.
Yeah, what a career Kelsey Bennett has had. A little bit down year this year, but it can't be understated the impact that she's had on this program. Was the ACC Freshman of the Year in 2019. She's played shortstop for this ball club, found her home at third base, but a huge bat to get hot as they go down the stretch.
2-2, tapped up the middle. Tough play, and it leaks into left center field. Maya Luco's going to take third. Corners occupied. Timely hit for Kelsey Bennett.
Kelsey Bennett has had a really good series here. She dribbles one up the middle. Maddie Moore tries and kind of goes in between a backhand and unable and kind of boots it out into center field. Maya Luco slides on this play. Would like to see her stay up, read the play, and get to third. But Bennett, again, with a clutch hit and a clutch moment.
Bottom of the 6th. Tigers go up by 1 run in the previous half inning. And with 2 down, Virginia Tech looking to mount something here. Castine had a 2-run home run, 2 at-bats ago. Up and in, did that hit her? Now they're gonna call that a wild pitch. Maybe a foul ball on that one.
Yeah, foul ball there. If you're Castine, you gotta sell this a little bit better. She knows immediately it hit her bat. I actually think that was a little more obvious on replay, so that would have been a really quick review. Hokie fans thought for sure that hit her. No gamesmanship from Castine. She's already hit a home run today, so.
A 1 taken for a ball. So the tying run 60 feet away for Virginia Tech here with 4 outs to work with, 1 to go in the bottom of the 6th. Series that make or break young players. Castine has been one that's shined. Check swing, she went.
Spencer working in the off speed more and more. We'll see it here. A really nasty pitch. Castine recognizes the changeup a little bit too late, but now it's in the back of her mind as she heads into this 1-2 count.
Foul ball. Now do you go back to the off speed or climb the ladder with some hard stuff?
I think you go hard in here. That's just my opinion. She's seen the changeup twice in a row, and she's starting to time it up.
Check swing, did she go? They say she did. Tensions are mounting at Tech Softball Park. Nonetheless, strike 3 to retire the side. 1-run lead for the Tigers, who step back up to the dish in Blacksburg. Clemson looking to salvage the series down 2-0 in this 3-game slate with Virginia Tech. They're up 1, and they step back up to the dish here in the 7th inning. It's been a long, entertaining, and fun ball game in Blacksburg. 5-4 your score. Kyle Marshak alongside former Duke softball standout Rain Wilson. Rain, you've been in some high-tension ball games. What is running through the heads of these players who are in the middle of an interesting one?
They're having fun. I mean, this is a lot of fun for both sides. Momentum swings, home runs.
Pitch 50 drops in for a strike to start things off in the 7th for the freshman Grind, who's been in the center of it, taking over a couple innings ago. She's been through 2 innings straight up now. The 0-1 pitch to Maddie Moore to lead things off. Just high of the zone, and the Hokies fans are in disagreement with home plate umpire Scott Mayer. I think you have to add the context of a called strike 3 from the third base umpire to end the last inning against Rachel Castine. That was Brad Newton calling that one over at third base. Check swing, and they'll get the call.
Hokie faithful is hanging on to every single pitch here.
Bennett charging, it's foul. Reedy Davenport for Clemson had a 2-run shot an inning ago. That was right over the left field foul pole. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Good way to start off the 7th for Grind.
Yeah, Grind's gonna work down in the zone with a nice drop ball that falls off the table. Maddie Moore tries to fight it off, but unable to do so. Aldridge with the tag on the drop third strike. And the first out of the inning.
1 down. Now Logaleo takes strike 1. So you hear Hokies fans on easy foul balls saying, that ball's foul, that ball's fair. Almost toying with the officiating crew after a controversial home run down the left field line from Davenport, as I said. There's a tapper to Bennett. She'll make the play for out number 2.
Yeah, I'd say it's been a controversial weekend, Kyle, from the ejections yesterday to some close calls today on the home run, and then the Hokies were threatening last inning. They get called out on a check swing with Castine up, who had a 2-run home run prior. So a lot of drama.
Ruskowski had a big home runner last time up to start the carousel in the 6th inning for Clemson. It was a solo shot for her. That's her 2nd home run in her career. And sure enough, the 2nd home run this series against Virginia Tech. She's really stamped her presence as a freshman designated player for John Rittman and company. There's so much context going into a series like this, or specifically the game. Hokies up 7-3 all time. VT lost in the ACC tournament to Clemson last year. 1-1, called strike 2. VT coming into this series outscored Clemson 34-18 in the all-time series. That might be a little bit different after today. But the Hokies also looking for their 2nd consecutive sweep of Clemson. 1-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. That'll retire the side. Good response from the freshman pitcher, and the Hokies have one last chance to steal one away. The tensions are palpable from Tech Softball Park. One-run deficit for the Hokies in the bottom of the 7th. No lack of emotion and an incredible Game 3 of what's been a historic series between the Tigers and the Hokies. And sure enough, Clemson going to their best pitcher, Cagle, taking the circle.
Yeah, Valerie Cagle's going to step in here in Game 3. I mean, what a series it has been, Kyle. Clemson leading here in the 7th, just like they were in Game 1. A little bit smaller of a lead, only 1 run. But man, have we set ourselves up for a wonderful ending.
Morgan Overitis will start things off in replacement of Aldridge, the pinch hitter. Ground ball, right side, Overitis trying to leg it out. Backhand flip in time to start things off. 1 pitch, 1 down. 2 outs to go for the Hokies, who have done it before. You don't want to jinx it, but walk-offs are well within the vocabulary of the difficulties for Cagle, who's been otherwise pitcher and player of the year for Clemson and the NCAA.
Yeah, Liberty on a midweek matchup. Liberty's a really good team, but they kind of blew the game in the 7th, and Game 1 here in Blacksburg, a similar situation.
Now Kelsey Brown trying to get aboard. She represents the tying run for the Hokies. On deck, guess who? Cam Fagan, who once again represents the winning run for Virginia Tech. They hit a walk-off. It was Fagan who did it. A 3-run home run in Game 1. They stole Game 2 on a dominant performance from Lindsey Grine. History repeats itself. Popped up behind home plate. This one's close to foul territory. It pops off the mitt, diving effort behind her. They're going to say no catch.
You can tell how much Clemson wants this out. Kelsey Brown has been on fire all weekend long. Gets a pop-up. JoJo Hyatt tries to make the play, but it bounces out of her glove into the net. Reedy Davenport goes for it anyway, but anytime the ball has hit the net or any padding, it is a dead ball.
Otsu to Brown. Tap foul again. I mean, the tension is quite literally tangible in Blacksburg right now. For Clemson to sweep the number 6 team in the country after being swept by Florida State would mean so much to the resume of the postseason hopes for Pete Demore's squad. Tap back to Cagle. Throw over to first. In time, beats Brown by a step. 1 out to go for Clemson.
Yeah, Cagle has come in and done a really fantastic job getting outs early, but now she has to face Cameron Fagan, who, like you mentioned, Kyle, came up with a huge home run in Game 1 yesterday. I mean, a storybook sort of at bat here in the bottom of the 7th.
Fagan represents the tying run. Strike 1.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to give Fagan that drop ball that they gave her yesterday. You see the slow off-speed rise there in on her hands. Yeah, her career whip, which is walks and hits per innings pitch, is under 1. I mean, if that tells you anything, especially in 2023 at .78, she's gotten better every year.
Check swing, did she go? No, says the third base umpire, Brad Newton. A call that Hokies fans can agree with this time around. This outing would be huge for a possible player of the year in Valerie Cagle, the best two-way player in the NCAA, and it's not even competitive in that category. To come back after dropping the ball, literally, against Liberty and then Virginia Tech. 2-1 line to the left side. Fagan comes through in the late again. 2-out single, and now the winning run steps up to the dish. A lot of power in the bat of Addie Green.
Yeah, Cameron Fagan here takes the pitch on her hands and drives it out in the shallow left. She's seeing the ball incredibly well now, and that's what you want to do down by 1 with 2 outs in the 7th. You just got to pass the bat, and it's the meat of the order for the Hokies lineup.
Green, right side. And that is a foul ball by inches.
Yeah, Green's gonna roll over this one. And remember, it's not where it hits the ground, it's where the first baseman catches the ball.
0-1 to Green. Big swing and a miss. 0-2 quickly here with the tying run on first. Hokies trying to sweep Clemson. Clemson trying to salvage the series. Addie Green. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Cagle gets away with it. That will retire the ball game. 5-4 your final score. Cagle, you can take that deep breath now. A 1-run victory for Clemson in what's been a very fun series. Well, that'll wrap it up for my partner, Rain Wilson. I'm Kyle Marshak, and what's been a 2-1 series victory for Virginia Tech. You can watch this one on replay on the ESPN app, but for now, an ACC Network production in Blacksburg, Virginia. We'll see you guys next time on the ACC Network.